Well, I'm more than happy to get your numbers if you like.
I just can't figure out what the difference would be. Why you could give somebody a certain type of water over here, but the guy.
I'm not saying it's night and day. It's not like one water's green and the other one's
Right.
crystal
No, I
clear.
understand that, but I don't
But
understand.
there is,
You know
there
what
is a difference. There is a
what the difference it
And the
could be.
municipality has that ability. They have that ability to do it.
Because I know in California, before I retired, I worked for a company. We had like 125 employees. And one year, all of a sudden, the federal government passes a law that if you have over 25 employees, you're considered a water company. So therefore, we had to have a qualified engineer or somebody that had been a water, worked for a water company and had so many years of experience, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Modern water, yep.
But ours water was coming out of a well. And I'm just saying,
The water doesn't come straight out of a well.
ours did.
It used to in this
ours
community.
is a private well.
Well, yeah, I'll give you that. But in the communities, your water has to be treated. There are requirements for treatment of water if it's going out in a community. So it's different there.
Is that like adding fluoride?
It's stuff stuff that the government thinks that you need.
But Brian, the water is different. I have a well that pumps 2,000 gallons per minute at the Country Thunder property. And when we hold an event, we have to get the water tested every morning. And from year to year, the water has tested different. And the water is tested a lot different than it has for the water up in the Copper Basin area. Or and I'm not a water expert, but I can tell you this: the water is so much different. And the water testing lab that we go to every day said that our water was so much better than the water that the public wells have. And you tried the public wells, that water's terrible. I mean, now we know why Crystal Water and all these water companies are making millions on this bottled water.
Well, we can keep nugging and chugging through this. I'm happy to stay as long. I've still got a ton of food here. If you want to take a 5-minute break and grab some food and then do some more questions, talk, that works. Unless you have something really pressing right now and because you got to go.
What's your final goal? What do you plan to accomplish with the Truth Squad?
I would hope and pray that Mr. Johnson changes his tactics in this community. That it becomes more of an asset instead of being seen as the bad guy all too often. And I would love this. I mean, I've talked to Mr. Johnson for years, literally. Dude, how do we change the way people think about you and your company? And it's a vicious cycle. I've tried. I think just about anybody who's tried to kind of soften that image, all they have to do is show up at a meeting and start yelling at somebody, and all your work goes out the door. And we've all seen that before. If you've been at a meeting with Mr. Johnson, invariably he gets his ire up and then he starts yelling at somebody. Like, that's his prerogative. It's his business. I get it.
I sold a home, well, I was trying to sell a home in Copper Basin, and Johnson Utilities came out to turn on the water, and the ball valve was broke to the house. But the person that turned on the water from Johnson Utilities, if the water is going, the meter's going to run. The meter's going to show that there's movement in the house, and it's just going. Anyway, the house flooded. My buyers didn't get the house. It was a big issue. Went down to Johnson Utilities and asked them, why didn't you see the meter running? Why didn't he stop and turn it back off? And, she got some paperwork out from the back and said, they're there for this many seconds and it didn't run and blah, 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 and we have it's not our problem. Anyway, I let it go after being told I was going to be sued as a real estate agent for, anyway, beside that. Then I hear more homes being flooded. Same thing. Johnson Utilities comes out, turns the water on. So me as a real estate agent has to sit back and I wish I could ask everybody that's out there that's selling houses to people, how many times has this happened?
Are they turning it on, you say?
But you
When
can't
they turned
because
it
you'll
on.
get sued.
Why?
When they turned it on, they closed the ball valve off to the house, the main ball valve, shut-off valve. That wasn't working. And the water continued to flow into the house, and somebody had the refrigerator valve on, so it flooded the whole house. And then I keep hearing, you know, same thing happened to my friend, same thing happened to my friend. And this house sat there and rotted for weeks, mold, everything. I mean, there was nothing anybody can do because of the insurance companies. But I just would like to know how many homes this has happened to.
Well, that's a great point. I'll finish with this, and then you get food, and I'll stay hang around. The point is, you know, what has Mr. Johnson done for this community? He put it on the map. He really did put it on the map. I'm not going to take away that. He invested when everybody else said, "You're crazy. Don't invest out there. No one's going to move out there." He put his own money up. He did it. He took the risk, and he got the reward. Good on him. Why does he continue to hold this community back? Why is he leading the charge to keep you from at least having a vote? I'm not saying whether you become a town or not is that important. I personally think it is, but you know what's more important is that you decide. I think you're educated enough to make a decision, a yes or a no. Can we afford to become a city? That's the basic question. And that's where you decide. And this guy decided, no, you're not going to decide today. You're not smart enough for that. I got this. This is my community. I built it. That's my problem. Stacey.
What if we become a...
Oh, sorry, there's two Stacey's.
What proof is there of that he's the one who supposedly squashed the corporation?
Because I was there for the two buses that Jim Norton was on, R&R, who works for George Johnson, and they were the ones. They supplied the buses to move the people. To the Capitol, yeah. They rallied the people to get to the Capitol, to go to the committee. A number of citizens of them were in committee, and they talked about this, and his lobbyist, Jim Norton, was the guy who stood up and said, this is unconstitutional. And there was nobody there to say yes or no, and it wasn't.
Well,
when in reality, it was
so
not.
you're talking about after the first incorporation effort scaled when they were trying to get it passed to the...
This was a bill in the legislature that would have allowed the community to move forward in spite of what Florence said.
Prior to that, I guess is what I'm asking you.
You know the rules prior to that? The funny thing in the rules prior to that, this is the crazy part. There was a time during GSTAC, Greater Santan Area Coalition, for those that know Santan Valley years ago, George Johnson was one of the front runners for this place needs to incorporate. It's the only way they'll get moving forward. That's fact. So I don't understand what's good sometime and what's not good another time. My bottom line is, you decide. Not the utility owner, not the county supervisor. You decide. You vote on it. And get out of the way. Let the process work. And he jumped right in with both feet and said, no, the process isn't good enough, I'm changing it.
Yes, the lobbyists provide the buses to take people down to the state capitol. Fine, spend your money however you want to spend your money. But with gas prices and things like that, I'm kind of opposed to incorporation because there's a lot more money that you have to throw in, and we just don't have the money to be doing that right now.
Good.
But it's like, hey, if somebody offered me a bus, hey, let's go down to the state capitol, I'm going to jump on the bus because it's not something I want, but I don't want to pay the gas money to drive down there.
Oh, you can say that. That's a great argument, Counselor. But the point is, he did lobby in this community. You saw it in your utility bill every month. He was definitely had his position, and he was pushing that in his. And you know the thing is, I had a lot of complaints. For him to spend the money to put that letter in his utility bill, where do you think that money comes from? That's your money. Through the Arizona Corporation Commission, those funds go through there. He's never been able to come out and say, I'm putting this out of my pocket. Putting this in many cases, political agenda in your utility bill. Whether it's a white piece of paper, pink, red, that was the colorful part, you know, to get your attention there.
But it's not adding extra money to our bill to put that propaganda in there because the prices are regulated by the Corporation Commission. So
No, you don't know that because there's still the cost associated with putting the product out to the constituent. He's allowed to do that. How much does it cost to make 25,000 pieces of paper, to print 25,000 pieces? I don't know. The point is, he's never itemized it, put in there. Where's this money coming from? And have you ever seen another utility bill that had a hit piece on a business owner or an elected official? Ever? I haven't been around very long, but I've never seen it.
Starbucks. I didn't know the CEO but Howard Schultz sends me emails with his political agenda, telling me to go this
you can
way or
opt out
that
of
way.
that.
And I actually sent him, my own email saying, "Hey, look, I didn't sign up for this." Everyone can do that.
If you ask.
No, you can't. It comes in your utility bill. I had people sending them back, taking that piece of paper and taking it down to the office and send it back. Get this out of my utility bill.
But there is also what's going on in the community. It's not all propaganda. That's how we knew the library was coming, because it came in that sheet of
Amen,
paper. I mean, it's not all negative.
Amen, amen. That's a thing. Great point, Stacy. He has the opportunity to make it good. Support this community. Don't infight. Don't fight. Don't fight in public. Fight in private. If you're going to fight, fight in private. But in public, be the benevolent one. All the good things going on in Santa Valley. There are plenty of good things going on in Santa Valley and Florence that you could talk about those things all day long. Easily fill one page, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper of all the good things. He chooses not to do that. All right, let's take a break here. We can finish up. Thank you. If you want to leave after this, thank you for coming. Appreciate your time. Enjoy some food, and we'll hang out.